session. Today, inshallah, we will start our series of public relations online sessions that will be delivered by Mass Communication Department alumni. So all of the guest speakers that we will have as part of these PR loop sessions will be delivered by graduates from our campus. And again, this is an opportunity for us to bring back graduates from previous batches to give back or to contribute to the learning process that we have at our campus. So we kickstart these sessions with Ms. Tahani Shaibi. She is from the Mass Communication Department. And of course, some of you, if not all, have studied with Ms. Tahani. And I'm going to give you a brief about Ms. Tahani. So Ms. Tahani is a lecturer at the Mass Communication Department. Okay. And she got her master from the University of Leicester from the United Kingdom and graduated, I think, in 2014 from Sciences-Sur with a bachelor degree in public relations. She has 3-year experiences on communication and community officer. Mr. Hani, could you please just you could mute your mic because it's kind of, I don't know what is going on there. Yes, thank you so much. So Mr. Hani has more than 3-year experience on communication and community officer. He worked for I think the Oman LNG back then. She also has more than 3-year teaching experiences in mass communication and public relation. He used to work for Al Bayan College, of course, and she joined our campus, I think, in the last, I think, 1 or 2 years or so. She also contributed to the academic or academia, published more than, I think, 3 or 4 papers, including the one titled Oman Women Uses and Gratification of Facebook. This was conducted back in 2017 at SQU. She also participated in one of the highly reputed conferences in Europe, in Germany, and her paper titled Oman Uses and Gratification of Facebook in Business. And she presented this paper at the University of Bonn in Germany. Recently, she participated in one of, again, international conferences that was held at Sultan Qaboos University early this year. I think it was in February, if I'm not mistaken. And she co-authored the paper with our colleagues, Dr. Baha and I think Dr. Fatma. The title of the paper is, I think it was on artificial intelligence and media courses here in the Sultanate. So this is a brief about Mr. Hani. Of course, he's one of the people who are, contributing to the university in Sur. She also the head of, I think, innovation and entrepreneurship department. So again, I welcome you, Mr. Hani, to this PR Loop sessions, and I hope that your contribution will help students understand corporate social responsibility, or CSR, and will give them a different perspective on CSR. So without further ado, I think I think the floor is yours, Mr. Hani. You can take the lead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sami. And I have full of pleasure to be with you, my students, today for this online session. And I will hope you will get new information about corporate social responsibility. Uh, I don't know if you have a brief about CSR in Introduction to Public Relations, but once I taught public relation communication, there are some parts and content related to corporate social responsibility. So, inshallah, in this session today, we will look through uh, some agenda and information about corporate social responsibility. So first of all, once we said CSR, so C it stands for corporate, S social, and R responsibility. So corporate social responsibility in brief, it's that any company or any institution should has commitment to the society, and this commitment should be ethical and environmental and social for the environment. In in another way, it's about how the company or organization will give benefits and will support the community in different sectors. Of course, if you run a business, so you run the business within the community, you run your business within the society. Okay, so you have to be more responsible to the society where you run where you are running your business. Therefore, if you have good CSR, you will also benefit your business, your reputation. You will build a good reputation with the community members as well, because community is considered one of the any business or any organization stakeholders. Okay, so once we talk about CSR in any company or any institutions, it should have positive impact into the society, and it should have positive impact into the environment. Okay. To talk more in deep about its history, how CSR concept has arisen, and etc. So first of all, in 1950s, this period of time is considered the birth of CSR concept. There is an American economist, his name is Howard Bowen, and Howard Bowen is known as the father of corporate social responsibility. At that time, he was concerned about that any businesses should have social responsibility towards the community and towards the society. So he published his book, which titled Social Responsibilities for the Businessman. So he suggested that any businesses should have obligation to the society, iltizam, to the society, beyond the profit. So it is not just means that any business gain profit and then they don't give anything back to the society. So if you think about examples here in Oman, like the Oman LNG, it has lots of social investment. It has lots of social obligation to the community because it runs its factories within within the environment where we are living. Same as Omifco, same as Veolia Bahwan and other companies here in Seoul. Okay. After that, in 1960s to 1970s, this time it's also for the industrial revolutions and people start working in factories, etc. So it has raised also other concepts like civil rights, labor rights. So at that time, the businesses also have pressure to give rights to the civil rights, to the environment, and to the labor movements as well. So it doesn't mean that we just have to support the community outside, but also we have to support the internal community of the institutions or of the organization. It means that any companies should look outside and also inside the company. Okay. And after that, during 1980s, there was rise of the business ethics. How any business should be ethically responsible. Okay, so they were. There are lots of theories at that time. Also has been arisen, like stakeholder theories, ethical behaviors of businesses. and other theories. Okay, so most of the companies at that time, they began to adapt their ethical codes and also social audits in their businesses. It means that they monitor their work, and they monitor their attitudes. Are they ethically? Are they doing things in a good way or not in a good way? Okay, and later on 1990s, they start thinking about strategic CSR and sustainability. Sustainability means istidama. Is the things that we are doing is sustainable? Is it for future growth as well? Or it is just that we donate things for the community? It means that if I run a business and maybe I'm making profit, okay, and I will give 1 million to the education sector to support the education sector, is that 1 million I will give for the education sector and I will support the educational sector? Will it impact for sustainable goals, or I just donate it and that's it? Okay, so the companies start thinking about sustainable CSR, like they invest the money, or they invest the income in something for sustainable goals. Okay, it means that many generations could benefit from what they are giving. Okay, and of course they are also having lots of standards, and they start reporting the initiatives. They start making reports about their initiatives, social initiatives, environmental initiatives. They start making records and reports. Okay, and later on, they also focus on expanding the CSR in the bottom line of CSR. So CSR is actually consisting of three elements: environment, social, and governance. Okay, so they also think about how investors, okay, will be affected by the CSR that any company do. Like for example, if you have a company and you want investors to treat مستثمرين, okay, so you need investors. So at that time, the investors will also look at your CSR efforts and CSR projects that you are doing for the community. As much as you have CSR initiatives and you are supporting the community, as much as it's easier for you to attract the investors to your business. It's same also for the customers. Like nowadays, if you see that this company is doing lots of CSR for supporting the orphans or supporting the poor people, of course, the revenue or the profits of that company will grow up. If you see an advertisement or even in news or any coverage that this company is supporting poor people, or it's supporting orphans, or supporting the education or health sector, of course you will have that internal decision that you want to buy more from this company, because this company is also investing in the community. It's also investing on educational sector or health sector, etc. So they start like link it to the company reputation, okay, to build the company reputation. So we are talking about definitions of CSR, history of CSR, how it started, but do we really need the CSR? Do companies really need to have CSR in their businesses? Okay, what CSR will benefit the company? Okay, will benefit the community, but what else? What I will get as a company if I support the community, and if I support the society, if I support the health sector, educational sector, environmental sector, which most of the companies are caring about. Okay, maybe in Oman we don't have it, but maybe in other countries they have it. Greenwashing. It's like some companies, they are supporting the community, but in other ways they are harming the environment, most of them in oil and gas industry. So they are doing like greenwashing in front of media. They say that we support, but indeed they are not. But the real CSR is different from the greenwashing. If any company will have a CSR, then it will build a strong reputation. Nowadays, if I will ask any one of you to tell me something about Oman LNG, what will come to your mind? Of course, it comes to your mind the support that Oman LNG is giving to the society, the projects they make, donations, sponsorship of events, etc. It's same like Omifco, it's same like Bank Muscat, Omantel, Orido, BDO. These big companies in Oman, they have great projects on CSR, and they invest millions and millions in CSR, in promoting the society, developing the educational and health sector. Okay, it will also enhance the customer trust and loyalty. If you are a fan to any brand, for example, okay, and you see that your brand is really supporting people or it's really supporting the environment, you can see that other some brands are using recyclable items. Other brands are using also organic items, so they are supporting the environment or they are minimizing the environmental risks. So of course you will be more loyal to those brands. Okay, it's also attract talents and engage employees. Now, who would like to work in Oman LNG? Maybe most of people would like to work in oil and gas industry. Why? Because they created a good welfare for their internal CSR, for their staff and for their employees, and even for the employees' families. Okay, it's also once we have a good CSR, then it will minimize for us the financial risks. As I have mentioned before, if you have good CSR, then you will attract more investors. So it will be easy for you to attract the right investors. Okay, it also contributes to the long-term sustainability. You don't want to run your business just for 3 years or 4 years. You want to run your business as much as you can. So for sustainable goals, you have to create sustainable CSR projects, projects that will last for so many years. You will not spend 1 million for one project and then that project maybe will end in 1 year. You have to invest your money wisely for sustainable development, for sustainable goals. Like maybe you will invest 1 million in educational sector, but the impact of this million will go for like 3 years or 4 years or 6 years. Also, you have to have a plan. Each company should have a plan for CSR. In which areas they are going to support the community, in which areas they are going to support the sectors in any community. Uh, Being a public relation officer or CSR specialist in any organization means that you have to be aware of the community concerns. If there is any community concerns, if there is any community issues or problems, you have to act before they raise it to you. Okay, so don't wait for the people to come and tell you we need this donation, we need this sponsorship for this parts of problem. You have to like make a proactive plan for any community concerns or any community problems. And if there is a misunderstanding, you have to solve it immediately. Okay. Now we have talking about elements of CSR, importance of CSR. Also, we will talk about types of CSR. So we have environmental CSR, of course, which cares about the environment, reducing the pollutions, waste management, green energy use, renewable energy. Okay, any initiatives that this company or organization think it's going to help and support the community, etc. When I was working in OLNG school, we have lots of projects for CSR, especially for environmental CSR. So we have recyclable projects. It means that we are collecting all the papers and then we take those papers to one of the companies in Muscat. So they shred the papers and then they reuse it. They reuse the papers. So many times you get certificates of that. There are also other projects for reducing using plastic cans, plastic bottles of bottle of water, and there are also other things that in which we can support the environment. Beach cleaning campaigns, beach visit to clean the beaches sometimes. So here to reduce the pollution, to also waste management. Now, oil and gas industry in Oman, they have a project. It's a carbon emission project. It means that they are trying to minimize the use of carbon in their operation. By 2030, BDO goal is to reach 0% of carbon. And by 2050, Oman LNG, it is their target goal is to be 0% of carbon in their operation. Okay. We also have to care about the ethical CSR. Ethical CSR means fair wages, safe work environments, and anti-corruptions. So, of course, if you work in a company, the internal public relations department within the HR department in any company has to think about it. Okay, so you have to distribute or you have to give your employees fair wages, uh, same salary or fair way of distributing the salary for the staff, safe work environment, lack of hazards, lack of risk. Okay, so you have to provide for them safe work environment and of course anti-corruption. Again, I will give you example about Hassis Hashrukh International School. Even the chair that we used there has to be يعني يكون كرسي صحي. Okay, they measure the chair sizes. Also, the chair they provided for their kids. Also, the toys there, everything. It has to be safe for the people in that organization. It is same here in our college. Now we have risk register department. We also have HSE department. The things are going to be changed more for better and better quality to provide a safe environment. Why we have ethical CSR and why we have to think about making the employees satisfied with the company and make them happy and comfortable within the company, because they are the advocates, because they are your advocates in the community, and they are your مثل ما نقول هم الصورة للمؤسسة. Okay, so if you have like if you give them a good internal CSR project and fair wages, safe environment, the place is fine. So they will be the ambassador to give a good reputation and a good image about the community, about the organization within the community. We also have philanthropic CSR, which is خيري, يعني أشياء خيرية like donations, scholarships, community development. I remember in 2011, Oman LNG gave 100 educational scholarship, and it gives 100 job as well for job seekers. So this kind of initiatives, it's really helped the community and also help raising the reputation of the company. Donations for maybe a zakah panel, المؤسسات الخيرية الموجودة في الولاية وحتى في عمان بشكل عام. Okay, and also economic CSR. For economic CSR, the company has to think about the economic. Okay, so how to support the local economies, how to support, for example, the local startups or the local companies. Because I run a business in social media, there are many companies who call me for Eid fair. Okay, so they are making like Eid fair within their company, so they will let their employee to buy from the home business products. Okay, so they are calling people, they are opening these opportunities for everyone. Okay, Uh, CSR in Oman, it is growing and it is also developed. It is not like in the past. There are lots of development within the CSR sector. The development because of Oman Vision 2040, in which the vision is focusing on sustainability. It's also focusing on youth empowerment and in economic diversification. We don't want just to try to build our economy on oil. Now the country is more focusing on innovations, new startups. Okay, so how we can develop this economic within our country. Okay, Ministry of Social Development, it promotes lots of CSR projects through its programs within the private sector. The private sector is really doing a great role in Oman in supporting the community. Okay, so many of communities, they are committed to these programs and they are contributing into society, specifically more in Oman in education and in environment and also in the community health. Okay, so there are lots of programs, there are lots of forums, there are lots of conferences. I think last month there was also a conference about corporate social responsibility in Oman, done by Al-Ru'ya newspaper in Muscat. So this is one of the programs that Oman as a country is really caring about CSR. Okay, so if I will give you examples about CSR in Oman, just to let you understand more. I give you more examples about Oman LNG, I know, because it is close to us and you are familiar with it. So Oman LNG in 2014, 1%, 1.5% of its revenue will go for social investment. So in 2014 it spends 4 million just for social investment. يعني 4 مليون الشركة صرفتها بس للاستثمار في المجتمع، مدارس، القطاع الصحي، التعليمي، all sectors. In 2024 more than 15 million the company spent for the social investment. Okay, it is same like, and for sponsorship and for donation, the company spent more than 1.3 million, more than 1.3 million for donations and for sponsorship, for the events, etc. that happen in Oman. You can see in many conferences, in many forums, the logo of Oman LNG is there supporting the forums, conferences, educational sector, health sector, etc. At the same, it supports our campaign that done this year by our PR students. So there is support also from Oman LNG. Okay. Another example about video. Okay, petroleum development of Oman. There are also lots of social investment programs because it is one of the oldest companies in oil and gas sector. So there are, it supports entrepreneurship, it supports the educational sector. I remember when I was in UK doing my master, there are many students who went for UK to study, but once they finish their study, they will go back and work in video. Actually, their scholarship is sponsored by video. I think 50 scholarships at that time video give for students, but of course they have to pass interviews, etc., and then they go and study, and then they come back, they work within video. Another example is about Bank Muscat. They have GISR program, which supports people who have disabilities, youth training, and also healthcare initiatives. Of course, Oman LNG, it also have digital empowerment campaigns, digital empowerment initiatives, and also OQ, in supporting sports, youth development, environmental sustainability, specifically in rural areas اللي هم يكونوا في القرى أو المناطق البعيدة. Okay. Now, there are some challenges about CSR in Oman. So first of all, there is limited awareness among small and medium enterprises. يعني احنا عندنا الشركات الكبيرة they have big role in supporting the community, but the small enterprises and medium enterprises still they don't have that much awareness about CSR. It doesn't mean that they have to support in millions or they have to spend millions. No, CSR is not just with money, how much you give the community, but it is how you can give the community and how you can benefit the community. Maybe they can, all their employees could be Omanis, they can raise the number of Omanis working with them, they can minimizing the environmental hazards, etc. They can do lots of things for small and medium enterprises. Okay, but most of the time, CSR is used as it is a PR tool, just to make a reputation, but not for a real impact. So some companies, they just do it to gain reputation rather than they really create a big impact in the society. Okay, there is no standards for CSR performance reporting. You know, man, like each company has an annual report, and in that annual report, some of them will put how much do they invest in the society and about CSR, but others they will not report it. Okay, so this is one of the limitation. If we don't report, then how we can analyze our effort and how we can analyze our performance within years. Okay, and also there are some of the companies they have insufficient integration of CSR into their business strategy. So they build their business strategy, but in that business strategy they don't include a CSR as one of the pillar for that business strategy. تسوي خطة بزنس، تسوي استراتيجيات أساس البزنس تبعك يكبر، بس ما تحط السي اس ار one of its element. يعني ما يعيروا السي اس ار اهتمام كبير إنه هو will lead the company or will let the company succeed in the market. Okay. These companies or some of them, they can solve these issues through a training. We can give training for local businesses, sessions about CSR, etc. And also we can link the CSR with the environment, social, and economic. The three elements of CSR, for example, education, health, clean water, fresh air, etc. And also we can provide transparent reporting of CSR. We have to report it. We have to say clearly that in this year, this is our CSR project, and this year, this is our CSR project. So once we report it, we will know where are our strengths, where are our weaknesses. Are we just focusing in one sector? We are ignoring the other sectors. And also, we will also analyze our CSR projects. So once we support these schools, okay, this year, maybe we support 50 schools. We give them high-tech screen, okay? What is after that we are giving them these screens? Do they need more items? Okay, is there any challenges the school face and they need another support or another support or another CSR project we can give to them? So always we have to open our eyes for the community concerns and see where we can put our effort and where we can put our impact. Okay, but the future of CSR in Oman is optimistic future, inshallah. We have to shift the CSR. Actually, it has been shifted to sustainable innovation. In most of the companies, they are working for sustainable development. They are actually working for sustainable goals. Okay, يعني شيء مستدام، عندهم استدامة في المشاريع. They don't just make things for 1 year or for 6 months. No, they are doing sustainable plans for their projects. Okay, our main focus is in youth, education, and tech-based initiatives. But now there are lots of tech-based initiatives for supporting the technology itself. Of course, with the era of AI, everyone would like to support the digital awareness. Okay, we can also align our goals with the UN Sustainable Goals, United Nations, uh, United United Nation goals. Okay, and we can encourage the private and also the public to have partnership. So the public sector and private sector, they have to work together for developing more CSR projects and more CSR initiatives. Like for example, if we take our college as an example, so for UTAS, okay, um, okay, if we ask for a donation or if we ask for like CSR projects from Oman LNG, then we have to work also with Oman LNG. Okay, and really our branch is doing the mutual CSR. Like we are giving them research, biotechnology, they are doing research for them, and Oman LNG is also supporting us and giving us another projects or labs, equipment, etc. Okay, that's it. Do you have any questions? No questions?
Thank you so much, Mr.
You're
Hani,
welcome.
for this, I would say, fruitful session. Honestly, I myself learned a lot about CSR, and I've also learned about a lot of stuff about CSR types, some of the challenges that we are facing, not only when it comes to CSR, but also in public relation in general. So again, I would like to thank you for these great insights into
You are welcome.
CSR. Into CSR, it's highly appreciated. Thank you for your time, and also I would like also to just mention some of the key concepts or ideas that you mentioned today, including, for example, the you touched on the history of CSR, starting from the taking the key obligation that we have as companies or organizations toward the society that we belong to. Of course, it is like obtaining a social license to operate. Without that social license or social approval, no company can exist, of course. And then you touch on business ethics. Of course, ethics is one of the key interesting areas. Again, not only in CSR, but also in public relation at large. Um, right. And then we moved on to the sustainability and why is it important to have sustainable practices for companies and institutions. You also mentioned the move towards cutting our carbon footprint. And of course, that is one of the priorities for Oman. If you look at Oman Vision 2040, it's a very important area that we are trying to, or objective that we are trying to achieve. Right, so, and then you mentioned CSR and how is it different from what we call greenwashing. So as you mentioned, greenwashing is basically when you try to appear as doing good on surface, but you are actually hiding something which is unethical. So like an unethical practice that you are trying to hide. Of course, this can actually help you in the short term. So for example, you can survive in 1 year or 2 years time, but in the long run, of course, people will uncover the truth, and of course, you will suffer the most. Okay, as you mentioned, CSR also help us to reduce the kind of financial risks that we can have. Of course, investors will be more attracted to companies that have good CSR. and companies that have a good vision and mission towards sustainable practices for the long term. And then you moved on to tell us more about the types of CSR. We have environmental CSR, of course, which is fully dedicated to the environment, including recycling, cutting our footprint, etc., carbon footprint, and so on. Philanthropic CSR, which is again part of the CSR program. So it's basically the programs that we give or use to give back to society, like voluntary or charitable events that we organize to collect donations from people and then to help people in need. And you give us good examples actually of CSR. When you discussed about Oman LNG, and of course, based on your experiences with the company, myself, I see that Oman LNG is one of the leading companies actually in CSR in the private sector. And again, that's for a reason. And you did actually explain why companies spend millions and millions of riyals on CSR. Okay, because they get something in return. And that something is the social approval or social support. Okay. It's very important for your company to have that kind of impression or reputation among people, especially those who are living in the surroundings. Right. You also mentioned some of the challenges that we face in CSR, especially for small and medium enterprises. Okay. And I do agree with you that given their limited budget, they don't have much good budget to fund or to run a very comprehensive CSR program that would require maybe millions of riyals. They can rely heavily on public relation, which is again most of the time will help us to get free publicity either by using the media or any other kind of endorsements or word of mouth techniques that we can use instead of relying on advertisements and paid forms of communication. So yeah, I think we have learned so much from you, Mr. Hani. I do really appreciate your session. It's very intense, full of information, and then I would say that we are lucky that we have decided to record this session so that students can go back again or refer to the session later on to understand more about CSR. Right.
شكرا.
Okay, last thing, Mr. Han, I just want to ask you this kind of question so that students also can learn from your experiences. My question is, what are the kind of skills that students need to improve to be, let's say, good candidate for CSR jobs in future once they graduate? Any kind of suggestions or recommendations on what skills they need to improve or tips?
Yeah. So the skills that students that they should have, like if they work for like CSR officer or CSR specialist. First of all, they should have communication skills. It means written and even verbal communication skills, how they can communicate really with the public, because most of the CSR officers are those who are meeting the community members, those who are talking to the community members, those who are also receiving the requests, and also those who are informing the community where their request is accepted or not accepted by the company. So they should have this written and verbal communication. and specifically speaking, and how they should speak well with people, because sometimes some community members will push the companies maybe to support certain parts, but the company maybe think that they have supported enough this sector and they have to give money or give donation or another help or support to another sector. Also, they should have like strategic thinking and planning. Once you would like to support the community, then you should have a plan, how they can plan for that project. Like in any company, we have different sectors. So how they are going to give support from the company to these sectors, which sector will take the most support this year, and why this sector will take this amount of money. I guess that they should have like strategic thinking and planning, and also research. As I have said before, they have to act proactively. It means that they have to look to the community concerns. They have to search what are the community concerns, what are the community problems. Whatever they heard from the community, they shouldn't ignore it. Actually, they have to research about it and then develop a solution in a possible way to support the community. As well as they have to have project management, how they can manage to run these kind of projects or CSR projects. Maybe they will have 6 to 7 sponsorship of conferences, etc. So how they can manage all these things, and how they can also work on deadline, because as I remember in 2012 I got training within Oman LNG, so I was in this department where we are receiving requests from the community for sponsorship and for donation, and they have to act immediately. Maybe the event will be next month, so if Oman LNG will agree to support that event, then we have to work on it on that week, in that week, and we have to communicate that institutions that is asking um, for that support. Also, they know how to communicate with people, as I mentioned before. That's it.
Great, great, great answer, Ms. Tahani. Thank you so much. I think
You're
that
welcome.
students will take this session seriously, and I hope that they will learn more from this session, and they will take this advice into considerations before they graduate. And I think that's all from my side. If anyone has any questions, again, you can unmute yourself and ask.